Here is our video about bivariate statistics. First, I want you to do a few reminders. Remember to open your SPSS file, and when you do that, you go into Angel. You'll open it up into here, and this will open up, and then to find your syntax file, open File, Recently Used Files, and it will be right here. I don't have your name in there, but yours will be in there. Remember when you open it to rerun anything you've already got in there. You may have recoded variables, you have run things. Those variables will not exist unless you rerun them again. It doesn't matter if you ran it last time, you have to run it every single time. Now for completing the t-tests, first, here's the syntax right here. You include the name of the test. Since we're doing a t-test, we're going to split our sample into two groups because a t-test compares two sample means. So in our class, we're going to split male responses from female responses on whatever your variables were. So we have to say we split it into groups, and the group we're splitting it by is sex. And it has to come from that page there in the data set. It has to have the exact same name right here. So that's the name of the variable you're splitting by, because we want to split all the answers into the ones for males and females. Next, we need to say which are the values, like male equals 2, female equals 1 in this case, and you see that in here. Again, back at that data, so here was sex, right here, same thing. You slide over to the values column, you click on the values column, and this will open. Many of you have already done this. Here we see that female equals 1, male equals 2. Those are the two groups we want to compare, so we split 1 and 2 right in here. These need to match the exact numbers. If you have recoded gender because it was something you were already interested in, a few of you have done that, then if you've recoded it to 0, 1, then this needs to be 0, 1. Next, we put in your variable names. These are your variable names. You need to delete the words variable name 1, variable name 2, and replace it with whatever you named your variables. Now these need to be continuous variables. If you have a categorical variable, you will not be doing a t-test on it. That will be a chi-square. We will do that next. So these are any continuous variables. That's what most of you have. Will go in here. Don't forget the period. Now the output. This is what the output looks like. And I have some labels here to help us understand it. The name of your variables are right there on the beginning. I have examples here of health and sleep quality, just so that we can interpret some findings and help you understand it. Now we have the name we split it by. Remember, we split it by gender. Here we have the number of participants. There were 73 females and 21 males. And we have the mean for each group. So the mean for females was 3.36 and for males was 3.24. And remember, a t-test is seeing if these means are different. So right now we see that it looks like they could be different. It's 3.3 and 3.2, but is that really statistically different? And the same with the sleep quality. Here we have a 28.8 and 29. Those are pretty close, but are they statistically different? And so we come down here and we look at this significance test, and these are the numbers we're looking for. If they are less than 0.10, then it's significant. None of these are less than 0.10, so they are not significantly different. So there's no gender difference here between health or sleep quality. These numbers are not really different. They could be the same. When you report it, if you give the t-test value, it would be t equals, in this case, 0.55, and this would go into the results section. Now for that chi-square. Now this is the comparing the differences in frequencies. The variables must be categorical. Now in here, there's a lot of stuff it looks like to add. Just type this all in you're not changing anything that's in colors. And if you type it in right, these are the exact colors that should show up in SPSS. The only things you're going to change are these two here. Sex is the variable name right now. For gender, again, it needs to match, just like in the t-test. Now here's your variable. That is categorical if you have one. If you don't have one, you can use marital status, M-A-R-S-T-A-T, and that will give you something to look at. Again, don't change anything. Remember that period, but leave all of these words in there the same. Here's that chi-square that we're telling it to do. Here's the output. Here's the variable we're splitting it by. What is your gender? Female, male. Here is marital status was the example that I am using. So we see the category since it's a categorical variable. And this table splits things up. So now we can see there's 30 single females and 11 single males. Here is the significance test. The question is, are 30 out of 76, is that statistically different than the 11 out of 23? Here we see it is not. Again, it needs to be less than 0.10, and this is 0.7. So this is not anywhere near it. And here would be your chi-square number. And you use the chi-square symbol there and list it in the results section as well. Next, we're doing a correlation. All of you will have a correlation for sure. And you simply type in the word correlations and then your variable names. Remember, it's a space, not a comma. And don't use these words. Replace them with whatever you named your variables. This is what the output looks like. Here would be your variable name 1 and 2. Here is the actual correlation, what will go into the results section as a R equals. That's what we call a correlation in the text, and it would be 0.12. Here we have the significance test. Again, we want it to be below 0.10, and this is higher, so this is not significant. And these are the number of people, 91 people answered both variable 1 and variable 2. This is your final sample, whatever answered both of these questions. Now this box over here, as you can see, it's an exact duplication. That's because across this diagonal, everything above it and below it will be the same, because variable 1 by 2 is the same as 1 by 2. It's just how the table works out. Now, this is just a reminder, you may not be ready for this yet, but when you make your tables and you're writing things in, many of you will want to come back and check this out, so I've included it here. That T is when it's less than 0.10. If it gets down to 0.05, you get 1 star. 0.01 is 2 stars, and 0.001 is 3 stars. So you can just come back and reference this later on.